everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I'm going to be making a kufi, and the reason that I am making this video is because one of you guys requested it and I have some time. It's something I'm interested in making, and yeah, I figured why not. Things you will need include some yarn, some cotton yarn. I'm going to be using this yarn. I'll leave a link to this in the description. This is glow in the dark yarn, so I'm really excited to see what it does when it's in the light and then I'm in the darkness later on. The cotton yarn that you use will give you a suggested hook size. For me it's size H USA. Okay, you're gonna need a darning weaving tapestry needle and a pair of scissors as always. Let's get to it. Alright, so you're going to start out with the slip knot by wrapping that around your finger, twist, exchange. Now wrap this around your finger like that, pull that one over that one and off your finger. That. Insert your size H USA crochet hook. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to make a double crochet in that very first chain there. So yarn over, go all the way back to the first chain. You can get 1 loop or you can get 2. I like to get 2 loops on there when I go through chains a lot of times. Yarn over, pull all the way through. That will give you 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. My yarn is splitting a little bit. And yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. Alright, by crocheting into that first chain, that left 3 chains, which will count as a double crochet. And then we have this double crochet, so essentially we have 2 double crochets together. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go back into that first chain and put 2 more double crochets. So here's the first one, 1, and then without chaining, so just yarn over, go back in there and put the second one. For this round, the chain will only come after you make 2 consecutive double crochets. This yarn is splitting a lot. Alright, so what we have is chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, then a chain 1. Then we have 2 double crochets. Now that we have made 2 double crochets, we're going to chain 1 and go back in that first chain and put 2 more consecutive double crochets. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go back in there, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Chain 1 because we just made 2 consecutive double crochets. Yarn over, re-enter that first chain again. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. And if you notice you split, just make sure you catch it by going through. Okay, and then yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, enter that first chain one more time, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Because we just made 2 consecutive double crochets, we're going to chain 1. And then here's that chain 3 that was left by crocheting all of these double crochets into that first chain. So we're just going to slip stitch into the top chain, the 3rd chain up. So get in there, yarn over, and pull all the way through. That's round 1. So essentially you have 8 stitches. You have the chain 3 at the beginning, that counts as 1, then the double crochet you just made right after it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now we're back. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 will count as a double crochet, so we go right in there where we slip stitched and we put a double crochet. Okay, and then in that next double crochet we're going to put 2 double crochets. So slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front, pull, okay, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go back in there, slicing the icing once again, and make your double crochet. Alright, so now we have 4 consecutive double crochet together. We're going to chain 1 And now we're going to go over to this set of 2 double crochet. We're going to put 2 double crochet in each double crochet below. So this is an increase round. Round 2 is an increase round. We're doubling the number of stitches. Yeah, this yarn splits a lot, so you're going to have to be a little bit careful. Just make sure your hook is angled in a very precise way so that you don't split your yarn. Okay, so these two have 4 stitches, the chain 3 plus 3 double crochet. Remember that chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so these 2 double crochet have 4 stitches. These 2 now have 4, chain 1, and then we move over to these next 2, and we're going to put a total of 4 double crochet in them, 2 double crochet in each one. Alright, and we don't chain 1 in between when we're working with a group. Like I have 2 more to make over here. I don't chain 1, I just go directly to the next double crochet and add those 2. And now that it's time to move to the next grouping of 2, that's when I chain 1. Okay. Alright, now that I have my 4 consecutive, I chain 1, and that takes me to the beginning. That chain 3, crochet in the top chain 1, 2, 3, that's the top chain, or the 3rd chain up, like that. Pull all the way through. And this is what we have. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the pattern will be 1. So this chain 3 counts as 1 for the chain 3 in there. And then in the next 2 center stitches, we're going to put 2 double crochets. So yarn over, slice the icing off the top of the cake or the next stitch, and make a double crochet. That's 1, back in there for 2. Alright, now that we have 2 in that one, we move on to the next one, and that next one will also get 2. 1, back in there for 2. Now, for symmetry's sake, this last one in this group of 4 will only get 1. Like that. So, if we look at this, that chain 3 counted as 1, then the next one got 2, the next one got 2, and that last one got 1. So 1, 2, 2, 1. Now that we're finished with this section, now we chain 1 to move over to the next section, the next grouping of 4. So this first one will get 1 in there, 2 in there, 2 in there, and 1 in there. Let's do this. So 1, next one, 2, back in there for 2. Next one, 2. So that's 1, back in there for 2. And then that 4th and final one, just 1. Like that, okay? Chain 1. Continue in this manner, and I'll meet you once we get back there. See you there. Alright, so I'm back around. I've chained 1, and now once again I slip stitch into the 1, 2, 3, the 3rd chain up, or the top chain. It's the same stitch, okay? Just pull all the way through. Chain 3 again to start round 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the pattern will be 1 in there, and then the next one will get 2. Back in there for the 2. The next stitch will get 1. The next stitch will get 1. The next stitch will get 2. back in there for 2, and the final stitch in this grouping will get 1 for symmetry's sake. So let's look at this. Started with 1 with the chain 3, then the next stitch got 2, and then in the center we put 1 in each of those 2. So 1, 2, and then 1, 1, and then 2, and then 1. So on the end you have 1. Then the next stitch inside you have 2, and then you have 2 1s. Now we finally chain 1 because we're moving over to this next section. So once again, this gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. This is the pattern, repeat. So back in there for 2. Next 2 stitches is only get 1. So next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch, second to last stitch gets 2, and then the last stitch in that grouping gets 1. Now we chain 1. Okay, so that's the pattern repeat. Notice that these sections are getting wider and wider as we go. Okay, so continue in that fashion and I'll meet you there. Alright, so I am back around and I just want to stop and point out something. So you see with this round 1 we started with 2 stitches in each section. Then for round 2 we increased so that 4 stitches are in each section. Then round 3 we added 2 more stitches, so now we have 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each section. And round 4 now, because we added 2 more stitches, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches in each section. Okay, so you're going to continue in this manner, adding 2 more stitches each round. Okay, so let me finish round 4 and I'll start round 5, and then I'm going to let you go and crochet on your own for a bit now that you know the pattern. So slip stitch into the top chain or the third chain up. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That first chain 3 will always be the one for the chain 3 down there, and that first stitch only gets 1, so it's always going to be chain 3 and then you move on to the next stitch. The next stitch is always going to get that 2 double crochet in it, so 1, back in there for 2. Don't forget, you guys can slow this down. Alright, and now we're going to, instead of crocheting 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, we're going to crochet 4 double crochets, so 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 stitches will now get 1. In the next round, it'll be 6 stitches that get 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's 2, next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4. Now we're to the second to the last stitch of this grouping. The second to last stitch will always get 2 during our increase rounds, back in there for 2, and then the last stitch will always get 1 for symmetry's sake. Okay, so 1 on in the end, 1 on that end, 1 on that end. Then the next stitch in gets 2, 2, and then the center we have the 4. So remember, the next one after this will be 6 consecutive double crochets, the next one 8, and so on and so forth. Chain 1. Alright, let's do it one more time. So first stitch 1, next stitch, which is second one, always gets 2, back in there for 2, and it'll help to keep your yarn loose. That'll help with the splitting. Alright, now the next 4 stitches will just get 1, 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, I'm counting up, 3, next stitch, 4. Now I'm to the second to last stitch, 1, 2, right? Second to last stitch always gets 2, so 1, back in there for 2, and the last stitch gets 1. Chain 1 now that we're finished with that group. Okay, so continue in this manner until your diameter is such that it fits the top of the crown of the head of the person that you're making it for, and I will check back in with you there. Okay, so I am almost done with these increase round. This is the last round that I'm increasing. I just wanted to show you something. So when you start a section, you know how the first stitch always gets 1, right? That first one got that 1, and then the next one gets 2. If you're ever wondering how many stitches to only put 1 single crochet into, an easy way to not even have to worry about that is to just always remember to put 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get to the second to last stitch, right? And in that second to last stitch, here's the last stitch, here's the second to last stitch, that's where you put the 2 and then the 1, and you'll always be okay. So for instance here, back in this round, started with 1, and then that next stitch always gets the 2, it got the 2, and then in the next one, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now I'm at that second to last stitch and it got 2, okay? And that way you don't have to keep up with what number you need to, the number of double crochets that you need to put in between the stitches that get 2. Alright, so this is big enough for probably like a medium to large head. For those of you who are curious, I ended up increasing until to the point where I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 double crochets in between, okay? And just for those of you who are wondering, the approximate diameter is about 8 inches. It's a little bit more than, maybe like 20.5 centimeters, okay? And so now this is my last increase round. So I'm just going to complete this. Chain 1. So remember, first stitch always gets 1 double crochet. The next one gets 2. 1, back in there for 2. And then just put your 1s in there. We already know it's going to be 10 for this round. So I will meet you once I get to the end. Just wanted to stop and show you guys that. Sorry if you guys can hear the noise out there. It's snowing a bit and they're shoveling and blowing snow and stuff like that. Anyway, alright, so I'm at the end. So chain 1 after that group and slip stitch to the top chain of the chain 3, the third chain up, like that. Alright, now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And because we're starting non-increase rounds, every stitch will get a double crochet. So every stitch will get 1 stitch. This one has that stitch, so we move to the next stitch and we put 1 double crochet in there. So no more 2 double crochet in the second stitch. Next one, 1. 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 And if you split, just take it out because you want it to look neat. This right here, I want to go out, take it out even further just so I can clean it up because I kind of stretched the yarn out when I split it. But it's okay. I want the finished product to look good, presentable, not be an eyesore basically, right? So just have patience. It'll be worth it. Vale la pena. Alright, next stitch 1. All these stitches are just getting 1 double crochet in them. Slicing the icing off the top of the cake of the stitch. And making sure that when I split, I correct it. Okay. Just staying on camera because I want to show you one thing before I let you go. Alright, so those are all my stitches, and now we arrive at that chain 1 space. The way you're going to handle this is we're going to chain 1, skip the space, so the chain 1 will count for the chain 1 there, and we'll continue putting 1 stitch into every stitch below. Because we want to maintain that spacing, that little gap in there. Okay, so this round will be similar to the rounds that we've done, except it's not increased. So wherever we see a stitch, a double crochet, we put a double crochet in there. When we get to a chain one space, we create another chain one space by chaining one, skipping the chain one space, and going into the next stitch. Alright, this is the first round of non-increase. Do 2 more and I will meet you there. Also, this is how much of this yarn that I have left. So to make one this size, you're going to need at least 2. Okay. Once again, this is like a medium to large. It's kind of stretchy, so it'll kind of stretch over the head. It is meant to fit in a fitted way, okay? But if you're making one for a kid, 1 little ball might be enough. But this is more so a medium, so you're going to need at least 2, and I'm going to go through this. Keep that in mind. Alright, I've completed my 3rd non-increase row, so I've chained 1 as well. I'm going to slip stitch into the top chain, as I do at the end of every round. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and for the next 4 rounds I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch. So the first single crochet is going to go right in the same place where I slip stitched. So 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And when we get to that chain 1 space, instead of chaining 1 and creating another space, we're just going to put a single crochet in that chain 1 space, because we don't want any holes at this point in our kufi. So we'll be there shortly and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, we're to the chain 1 space. Just go in there, yarn over, pull through to the front, 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. That's how you make a single crochet, and then continue on with your single crochets, 1 in every stitch. Okay. When you get back around, you're going to slip stitch into that top chain of the chain 2 there. Alright, I'll show you how to do that. See you there. Alright, I'm back around to the chain 1 space. This is the tail from where I connected the second ball. Alright, so in this chain 1 space I'm going to put a single crochet, and I'm going to crochet over that tail so I don't have to weave it in later. And now I'm at that chain 2. I'm going to slip stitch into the top chain, the second chain up, chain 2 again, and then once again start by putting 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So I first put the single crochet where I slip stitch, and then in the next one I put a single crochet in the next one. Okay, so you guys know how to do this now. So this will be the second round of single crochets. Do a total of 4, and I'll meet you there so that we can finish this kufi off. Alright, so I have my 4 rounds of single crochet made. I'm going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of this round, chain 1, cut my yarn, fasten off, and then you guys know I like to go in from the inside. You can use a smaller crochet hook if you have one nearby. It'll make it easier to get through the stitches. And just pull that tail in like that. But before you pull it all the way through, chain 1, and it'll cause it to turn inward, and that serves as my tail, my tag. Okay, you can cut that down. And yes, this is pattern for my kufi. Very simple, very easy. You should be able to, well, it would take me probably less than an hour, but because you guys are beginners, it might take you a little bit longer, which is completely fine. For those of you who are wondering how tall this is, I'll give you a quick measurement. So it's about 7 inches, so almost 18 centimeters. Okay, but it just depends on obviously the head, the size of the head of the person that you're making it for. Okay, very simple, very easy. And this is going to be super cool because, as I said, with this yarn it glows in the dark, so I'm super excited to try this out. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video, but see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting!